I kick kidney disease's ass, and you can too. It was October 2021, and I was diagnosed by several doctors with irreversible stage 3A chronic kidney disease. I was also told that the average lifespan for a 56-year-old male would be between 12 and 15 years. Well, after sitting around for a few days feeling sorry for myself, I decided it was time to take action. I'm thrilled to say that 2 short years later, I have normal kidney function. I'm sure you can tell by now, I'm not a professional YouTuber. I do, however, hope that the quality of the content of these videos is much more important than the quality of the videos themselves. In the meantime, I'm just going to have fun documenting my kidney journey in hopes that it will help you out. Now, I'm not a physician, so I'm going to share with you the following disclaimer. I'm back. So now for the easy part. I'm going to tell you my story. So first, I just want to let you know that none of these videos are going to exceed 10 minutes in length. I want to make sure that I can keep your attention and that you really want to come back so that hopefully you get something out of them. Now, before I start with this introductory video and my story, I'm going to show you a couple documents that substantiate that I did indeed have a diagnosis of stage 3A chronic kidney disease. I doubt a lot of people would want to make that up, but hey, you never know. This was from a follow-up test verifying the result of stage 3A chronic kidney disease diagnosis. This chart shows a similar life expectancy to the 12 to 15 years that my doctor originally told me a male 56 years old would expect with stage 3A chronic kidney disease. In this first video, I'm going to take you up to my kidney disease diagnosis. The first thing you need to know about me, my dad died at age 70 from, you might have guessed it, chronic kidney disease. I had no desire to join him in dying by age 70. I always grew up very healthy, worked out a lot, tried to eat right. I was a Division I college wrestler at Purdue University. I was a college wrestling coach at Miami University. I coached wrestling through the age of 55. So I've always stayed very active. Never on any medications. In fact, I've always been very anti-medicine because I saw my father go through so much. He had a lot of bad health issues. It wasn't just kidney disease. He had diabetes. He had heart problems. He had cancer. So I really was not dealt a great hand when it came to my dad's side for genetics. It really came to me as a big shock when I found out that, I did have something wrong with me because, I really never thought about it. I've always tried to avoid going to the doctor, unless there was something absolutely, really bad that I needed to go for. But as far as going in for regular physicals, they were definitely few and far in between. Now, I guess I did have my first indication that something was maybe a little bit wrong in 2018. I'm in the insurance business. I've been very fortunate in my life to build several different insurance agencies. I've got a wonderful family, and I've always enjoyed, helping people, coaching them, whether it be in business or in wrestling. And in 2018, I was taking out a life insurance policy. Well, I know a little bit about life insurance, so I was selling myself a policy, and the results came back, and a couple of the companies denied me, and a couple of the companies were going to rate me. So when I looked into it, there was concern about my kidney function. It was through the numbers on the EGFR and the creatine. So, I guess somebody was trying to tell me something, but I really didn't listen. And rather than taking the life insurance out or following up with it, I just ignored it and went along, the way I was doing things before as far as monitoring my health, etc. So that was 2018. In 2020, the great year of COVID, I was going in for a physical finally. I think it was probably the first one in about 10 years. And sure enough, my doctor calls me, tells me, hey, Craig, you need to come back in for the results. And I said to him, hey, that bad? And he said, well, you really need to come in. We should discuss the results. So I did. I made an appointment. I went in, and I sat down with my doc, and he went through, the different numbers from my blood work, from my urine analysis. And he was concerned with not only some of the kidney function numbers, but also he let me know that I was very close to being type 2 diabetic, and I had very high cholesterol. Now, the cholesterol really didn't bother me because I was well aware of it, and I just never felt like it was going to be a big problem simply because my triglycerides were always low. So that part didn't bother me, but the diabetes really bothered me. And again, I kind of ignored the kidney portion. And I think a lot of that was simply because knowing that it killed my dad, I don't think I really wanted to face it looking back. And, that's not the right way to handle it. But that's how I handled it. So my doctor told me he wanted to put me on some medications, and we discussed it, and I listened to what he said. And I told him that, I really wasn't interested, in taking any meds. He wanted me to go on an oral med for both the diabetes and for the cholesterol. And he wanted to get some further tests on the kidneys. I told him I would see him next year, that I'd be back in for physical, and that I was going to take matters into my own hands. So he said, well, what's your plan? I said, well, I'm not sure yet, but I'll see you next year. So that's when things really started. And, I began looking into what I needed to do to combat the kidney issues. Well, the problem was I really wasn't looking into combating the kidney issues. I was ignoring those again. And I was strictly looking into the diabetic issues, which, as I'll tell you in the next video, it didn't work out so well for me because I wasn't addressing the kidneys as well. So I'm going to end things about right here. First, I just want to tell you, this to me is very enjoyable. As I said before, I really have always enjoyed helping people out. And when I was told that I had irreversible kidney disease and that, it was going to follow the same ending that my dad's did, I didn't buy it. And I have been able to reverse it. So I don't believe that kidney disease is irreversible and untreatable. In fact, I believe the opposite. So it's going to be my pleasure to be able to share this story and hopefully give you some information that will help you out as well. I really feel like this is something that it's my calling to be able to put my story out there, because I know there's a lot of people that when they hear from their doctor, from their nephrologist or whoever it is, and they tell them there is no hope, you can't reverse it, that they do lose all hope. So I hope that's not the case, and we can make a difference for any situation that you're in. With that, I'll see you next time.